On a day that alternates between sunshine and cloudiness, welcome to Jim Truman's beautiful Mid-Ohio sports car course. Today it's 69 miles, 29 laps to decide race 2 of the $575,000 International Race of Champions. Good afternoon, I'm Ken Squire. Over to my right, 12 of the world's very best drivers from Indy cars, sports cars, and the world of stock car racing are in the final stages of preparation for what should provide the finest sports car race in the 10-year history of road racing in IROC. Right now, 2 of last week's big winners are standing by with Ned Jarrett.
Well, Darrell Waltrip, congratulations on your first win of 1986, but you come into this race last year, you had won Daytona, you were leading the points, but you're a little farther behind this time.
I miss Tom Sneva, I tell you. He helped me win that race at Daytona last year, and it's a little better starting position. I guess that's the blessing, but by the same token, I'm glad Bobby Ray's up here on the pole today, because they'll probably cancel this race from lack of interest when he gets gone.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he does get going. Hans Stuck, of course, congratulations on your big win at Le Mans. You ran awfully aggressive at Daytona on the high banks there. What can we expect out of you today?
Yeah, I tell you, they have put the camera in my car. I bet they know why they did it, and I will try my best to believe me.
Well, I don't think there's any question about what they'll try their best, Ken.
This Mid-Ohio track reminds one of a beautifully manicured park, a 285-acre park. Not only has it become the loveliest road course in America, but this narrow 2.4-mile, 15-turn course is as tough as a diamond. Bobby Rahal shows it to us.
Turn 1 is a generally pretty straightforward left-hander.
Well, Bobby, if there's anything good that came out of finishing last at Daytona, it's starting first here.
No question about it. Daytona hasn't been very good to me the last 2 years, but certainly starting on the pole position in Mid-Ohio is, I think, pretty advantageous, so we're happy with that.
Since your big win at Indianapolis last week, you've had an awfully busy, stressed week for you. Are you up to running this race?
Well, I hope so. I think so. I've had some rest, but as you well know, it's you're here, there, and everywhere, but, you know, I'm not complaining by any means.
Well, Ken, I got a feeling that when he gets the green flag here, he's going to be gone.
As the largest Saturday crowd in Mid-Ohio history is moving toward the best possible vantage point for this event, it's a real pleasure for me to welcome the Dean of American Racecasters, Chris Economaki.
Ken, I'm thinking about the Daytona opener of this year's IROC series. A lot of surprises there. The stock car drivers, which were supposed to dominate, failed to do that. An IndyCar driver won, but more importantly, the foreigners found out that this kind of racing is not nearly as easy as they thought it was.
Well, right now, let's take a look at what happened in round number 1 at Daytona.
The opening round of IROC 10 held on the high-bank 2.5-mile Daytona Speedway. So last year's IROC champion, stock car star Harry Gant, outraced fellow front-row starter, road racer Hurley Haywood, for the early lead as other drivers jockeyed for position. As the speed increased, West Germany's Jochen Maas dove low to try and take second from Haywood, only to have his car spin. Swerving to avoid, Al Unser Jr. and Bobby Rahal in the bright red car both spun out in spectacular fashion. Unfortunately, Maas suffered leg and shoulder injuries that would have sidelined him for a month. With Gant still leading, 2-time Indy 500 winner Rick Mears' car hit the bump in turn 4 and angled upward into the concrete wall. As it ricocheted back across the track, Haywood never moved his steering wheel and unflinchingly zipped by with an inch to spare. Our in-car camera shows the jolt Mears took as his car hit the inner wall. It looked like another stock car driver's day until Gant's car developed trouble. He raised his hand, and seeing the signal, Triple Indy winner Al Unser pulled to the inside to pass for the lead and victory. It was a $5,900 payday for Unser, whose Camaro completed the 100-mile dash at a blistering 181.452 miles an hour.
Going to round 2, here are the IROC standings. After Al Unser's smooth, deliberate drive at Daytona, he's on top for the $150,000 first prize. There you see them back to Hurley Haywood, and let's take a look at the second 6 in the standings. Hans Stuck there, he's doing well in the standings. He could have a very good day. Bobby Rahal, who starts on the pole, has some real racing to do this afternoon here at Mid-Ohio. We'll be back with the starting lineup in a moment.
This CBS Sports Special, the International Race of...
For round 2 of the 1986 International Race of Champions. Row 1. On the pole, the 1986 Indy 500 champion from Dublin, Ohio, Bobby Rahal. Second starter, Al Unser Jr. at 24, youngest driver ever entered in the International Race of Champions, 5th at Indy last week. Row 2, Formula One and endurance champion, West Germany's Jochen Mass on the inside, and beside him, Rick Mears, two-time Indy 500 winner out of Bakersfield, California. In row 3, defending IROC champion, Harry Gant. Starting 6th, the three-time and defending NASCAR champion, Franklin, Tennessee's Darrell Waltrip. Row 4, the Le Mans 1986 champion, West Germany's Hans Stuck. Starting 8th, Klaus Ludwig, three-time Le Mans winner, victorious in the International Motorsports Association at Riverside, California earlier this year. Row 5, 4th in the current IROC standings, American road racing veteran, Hurley Haywood. In the 10th position, winner of 11 NASCAR races in '85, Georgia's Bill Elliott. Row 6, 2nd in the current IROC standings, four-time Daytona 500 champion, Haley Arborough. And riding in the rear, 12th position, leading the IROC standings, three-time Indy 500 winner, Al Unser. The field now coming around, two-thirds of the track completed on the preliminary lap. There you see the standings that they run for, the points in each race, 21 points to win, 17 points for second, and the graduation all the way through the field back to 12th. The weather today, well, it's a mixed bag here at Mid-Ohio. It has rained some. It's very, very humid, but it appears we're going to get this race in, Chris, and it's a monumental effort on the part of IROC to make it happen. The organization, the logistics for this race, 4 helicopters, 2 jets standing by to make it all work. We're inside of Al Unser's car, and he is running shotgun on the field as we get ready to round the carousel and come down for that start.
Al Unser's one of the few drivers that doesn't have a lot of pressure on him, Ken. He's not racing anywhere else this weekend. Almost everybody else is concerned with a race of one sort or another. The stock car drivers in Pocono, the IndyCar drivers in Milwaukee, and the IMSA drivers here.
Here you are inside of Hans Stuck car. Pace car comes in. Field is ready. And ladies and gentlemen, the second race of the 4 in IROC 86 is underway. One car spins on the start. All the way around, it looks like it's a blue car, perhaps Hurley Haywood's car. No,
Klaus Ludwig, twice Le Mans winner. Trouble right at the beginning, and at the start, it looked like Al Unser Jr. got the jump on the hometown star, Bobby Rahal.
Field is away and running. Out in front as Ludwig tries to get started. That front row breaking away quickly. Unser making a very good start. Ludwig is back on the track. Here we are back. They've just come to the keyhole and down this long straightaway. Fastest part of the course, some 160, 165 mile per hour here, and then into the S's. And as they come to this part, it is Al Unser Jr. and Rahal out in that first and second position.
Well, the IndyCar drivers are 1 and 2, and it was Al Unser Sr., an IndyCar driver who won at Daytona. We expected the road racing drivers to shine here at the Mid-Ohio circuit today.
Downhill in a hurry through this part of the course and getting to a big jump, and this is a surprise. I think everyone thought that Bobby Rahal would just dance away at the start of this event. He has logged more hours than any other driver on this track. He's having a tremendous start second, but Unser's drawing the field.
What surprised me is the interval between the cars, Ken. I was surprised that they're not closer together. The rest of the pack is very tight in the back, but Al Unser, Bobby Rahal are long gone for the moment.
Let's take a look at a replay of that spin out on the start. See if we can just... There you are inside one of the machines as we come down for that start. You're inside Unser's car as they came to the line. You can see in front what happened there, as part of what happened there, as the Ludwig car loops into the inside. Car 18 has won the last 2 IROC races, that car that just spun. Klaus Ludwig of West Germany.
The IndyCar drivers are now in the top 3 positions of this running, and this race isn't all that long, 29 laps. If those other drivers want to perform well, they're going to have to get it on. Beautiful racetrack here. There's been races on this track earlier today, and the drivers who are familiar with the track more than anyone else are Hans Stuck, Hurley Haywood, and Jochen Mass, who've been driving here today. The other drivers were racing elsewhere and have had absolutely no time in the car on the track today.
Hans Stuck has spun, and he's coming back out. the man that won at Le Mans with Derek Bell in a Porsche last week, has trouble just coming through the keyhole and gets it back in gear, and he comes firing down into this S-turn area.
A little bit earlier today, Hans Stuck broke the track record here at Mid-Ohio for sports cars with 107.413 mile-an-hour lap in his Porsche. He's racing tomorrow in a 500-kilometer sports car race here.
Mears is running third, Jochen Maas fourth, Struck is fifth, Waltrip is in sixth, Elliott seventh, Gant eighth, Yarborough ninth, Unser Sr. is up to 10th, having passed Haywood and Ludwig having spun right at the start. Al Unser Jr. jumping out in front of the man who was the odds-on favorite to win it, Bobby Rahal. 25th anniversary year of the Mid-Ohio course, and a record crowd is here for Saturday to see these 12 stars in action.
It's the largest Saturday crowd in the history of this beautiful Mid-Ohio sports car course, lying in central Ohio's beautiful farmland. A great crowd, and an even bigger crowd expected for tomorrow's sports car race.
Battle beginning to develop for third position. Rick Mears is getting a little bit of a challenge. Jochen Maas out of West Germany is running fourth, and right behind him is Darrell Waltrip. There you are with the leader, Unser. He is such a good racer. Youngest driver in the field at 24.
Maas now has Darrell Waltrip filling up his mirror. Maas was the driver who felt it was a piece of cake at Daytona, spun out and received injuries and kept him out of racing for a month. So he's got his hands full with the stock car driver, Darrell Waltrip.
Around that keyhole where you can really make time or dramatically lose time. Al Unser Jr. is just about as smooth as anything you could possibly see.
The drivers are handling a 450 horsepower delivered by these engines. And the drivers are doing a great job of handling all of that horsepower on this track that is a little bit slippery.
There you see the black car. That is Mears running third. Right behind him, that's number 20, Jochen Maas in fourth, and Waltrip comes next in the white car, and he's trying to make a move here. That's Darrell Waltrip in the white machine, closing up on Jochen Maas, but not getting through.
You see Waltrip trying various lines of the track to see what he can do. You know, can he go out there next time? He's testing the water, so to speak, as to where he can put his car.
Number 10, Al Unser Jr. stays in front, a couple of laps down. Winner of 3 IndyCar races, 2 last year. The son of the man who started in the shotgun position. And Unser Sr. is now up to 9th position. He has passed Haywood, Stuck, Ludwig. Remember that Stuck and Ludwig both had problems with this course. Cale Yarborough last year at a driver's meeting, kind of a kitchen cabinet meeting the night before the race. And the big thing here is to stay on the track. Don't get off the track. First man off the track at turn 1, Cale Yarborough, went all the way across, got 3/4 of a mile off the track, and looked like he was leading.
Look how busy Al Unser is there. He's shifting. Watch his right hand on the steering wheel in this beautiful in-car camera shot when he gets to the corner. How much turning he has to do. In IndyCar, he only has to move his steering wheel a little bit. Here he is from the side.
Turn 1. The smooth, deliberate driving of Al Unser.
Bill Elliott, the stock car star, has moved from 10th to 6th in the first 2 laps here. Look at how much arm motion. This is an exhausting day here at the racetrack. But look how calm and collected he looks. Unexcited at the wheel.
Big steering wheel for an IndyCar driver or for a sports car driver. They're amazed. They think they're steering the Queen Mary out there. Unser Jr. just settles in and continues to flog this number 10. Now remember, these cars all have the same engine, all of the same tires, and this tire does not have an inner liner. It is the same Goodyear tire throughout the entire field, and the same tire they built specifically for this race a year ago.
And they're radial tires as opposed to bias ply tires, and that's the new thing, and pretty soon in racing, everything will be radial for the years to come.
Downhill through the S's. Here you see Unser drawing a bead and pulling away on Rahal. Rahal made the move. Now, Rahal may be saving his tires because tires go away in a hurry on a 3,200-pound car with a 15-turn, 2.4-mile course. Stuckett said he didn't intend to make any big moves.
Rahal is said to have 250,000 miles on this racetrack. It's his home track, and he practices here all the time.
So he may not be showing us everything he has. It's Unser out in front, Rahal in second, and we'll be back with more of the action of the International Race of Champions. After 7 of 29 laps, Al Unser Jr. maintains his lead. Bobby Rahal in second, and Darrell Waltrip has been nipping through the field. He's into third. Rick Mears is in fourth. Elliott is up to 5th.
I tell you, the stock car drivers are doing very well. And Waltrip, when he passed Mears, he got a mark on the right side of his car, and he's pulled way away from Mears. Mears, from the American drivers, probably has less experience in this type of race car, despite his Indianapolis win, than any other American in the field.
There you see Mears being challenged now by Bill Elliott in the Petty Blue car. Mears right there. And right with him comes Elliott, who has charged in the back of the field.
Meantime, Waltrip is doing a remarkable job of closing in on Bobby Rahal. Harry Gant, another stock car driver, has fallen to the penultimate position in the race. He was further up in the lineup than that until last time around.
Let's go to Ned Jarrett.
Well, Ken, you made a good point a moment ago. Those that are really pushing their cars might be straining those tires a little bit because they will slow down. They'll heat up. Now, there's no problem with the tires wearing the full race here, but the harder you run it, the more heat you build into the tires. We wonder if Waltrip is doing that right now. Gant had made some moves back earlier, but then he went off of the racetrack and dropped back to the rear of the pack. So did Hans Stuck. So they got some catching up to do, but it'll be interesting to see if Waltrip can maintain the kind of pace that he's setting throughout the race.
Now you see a move by Cale Yarborough. That's Yarborough picking up a spot. Cale Yarborough in the red car, sweeping under Jochen Maas, and that will put him into the 6th position in the field. Jochen Maas falling to 7th, Bill Elliott 5th, Mears 4th, Waltrip 3rd, Ray Hall 2nd, Hunter Jr. up on top. So the stock car guys, and I would believe, either Chris or Ned, that that's the familiarity with the equipment. They're more used to this kind of a heavy machine.
That's right. These are much heavier than the Indy cars, far heavier than the Indy cars, and substantially heavier than the sports cars the road racers are accustomed to driving. It's a different ball game for all but the stock car drivers.
Well, there you see the crowd. There's Hans Stuck in the silver car, number 17. Remember, we spun earlier, getting it back together. And another point to be made of these stock car drivers, and we're inside of Stuck's car. He's closing up on the Moss car, number 20 right now. These stock car drivers ran Riverside, California, which is as good a road course as there is in the country. Perhaps not as pretty as this, but it's certainly demanding. So they come in here fresh from a major 400-kilometer battle at Riverside last week.
Well, they've been racing in Pocono for tomorrow's 500-mile race there and had a helicopter fly in, a helicopter in, and the IndyCar drivers have done the same for Milwaukee. I should think that they're really worn out at this point in the afternoon.
There you see Al Unser in front, Ray Hall in 2nd. What is Al Unser's strategy if he gets in the lead today?
Well, if we can get the lead, it all depends on what...
Of a second, his dad is currently being shown in 9th position.
This boy Unser has done a great job with his racing career. It's interesting, he says that his father has taught him everything, told him everything he knows, but unfortunately, his father has not told him everything his father knows.
Al Unser Jr. maintaining the lead. Now down to 2 seconds as the 10th is picked up by Ray Hall. Continuing to maintain 3rd is Waltrip in the white car. Remember, these are equally prepared machines, as close to equal as you can get them. Running 4th is Mears, 5th Elliott, and Yarborough on the charge. Completing another lap. Ray Hall trying to close the gap. Waltrip definitely moving in. Rick Mears a very steady 4th. And Yarborough is closing right up on the rear bumper now, closing in on Bill Elliott. Yarborough has won 3 of his 4 IROC races on road course.
He's quite a road racing driver. You know, the car that Unser's driving and leading the race with finished 4th at the Daytona opener at the hands of Hurley Haywood. It's interesting that the car was only 4th at Daytona and is clearly a superior machine here. It's the driving. Al
Unser Jr. has already picked up $1,000 in bonus money. Remember, there's 5 additional points for leading the most laps, then 3 and 2. Here's the man out in front, Al Unser Jr. We'll be back. Al Unser Jr. in front, Bobby Rahal in 2nd, Waltrip in 3rd, and it's been wild behind that. A tremendous challenge was being made by Hans Stuck. He got under 2 cars, actually moved over Cale Yarborough, then tried to make the same move on Rick Mears, and it did not work out the way he had intended. Instead, as we get a chance to look at it in replay, coming into the S's, take a look at what happened here. Here is Stuck down to the inside. That is the black car of Rick Mears on the outside. They come into contact. Hurley Haywood is about to come through with no place to go. That is Cale Yarborough up the middle and getting through. Stopping, coming almost to a stop, was the Jochen Maas car, and getting just trapped was Hurley Haywood.
You know, it's amazing, Ken, that the oval track drivers are up the first 6 places here. The road racers are having all the trouble here at this Mid-Ohio twisting circuit. I'm really surprised. Unser's leading, Ray Hall is 2nd, but now Waltrip is coming on like gangbusters. He's only about a car length behind Ray Hall and could be mounting a challenge at the halfway point here.
Unser Jr. has just clinched 5 points for leading most laps in the race. To the halfway point. And you can see the white car closing up on Ray Hall. That is Darrell Waltrip. in a battle for second position. Look at Unser continue to draw away. Second to third place, about 0.6 of a second down.
There's the race now. With Bobby Rahal, a tremendous crowd here today. Turned out to cheer the hometown driver. This is, as I said earlier, his home track. Huge crowd. They're hoping he'll be able to hold off the stock car driver from Franklin, Tennessee.
Sports car set, their chances pretty much scuttled here in the early going as Unser Jr. continues to draw away and build up the lead. Here's the battle. Rahal, what they call the Evans orange car, and the white car. There you are with Bobby Rahal's car looking at Darrell Waltrip on the attack in the S's.
I wonder how much time he spent looking in the mirror, Ken, or whether he's looking ahead at the tail end of Al Unser Jr.'s car. Evans orange, incidentally, is a color that was made famous on short tracks of this country by the late Richie Evans, and the color is named in his honor. He was killed last year at a race in Virginia.
Martin Speedway, great modified champion. Here we are once again into one of these straightaway areas, the speed going up to maybe 110 miles an hour, 150. They take this sweeper, getting down into the latter part of the course, and Waltrip continuing to work on Rahal.
You know, the cars are evenly prepared. They weigh 3,350 pounds, and a lot of special stuff has gone into these cars. So much so that one of these cars has a price tag of about $60,000 compared to $13,700 for the Camaro you can buy in your Chevrolet dealership. But it's going to be quite a race here. For second place now with Indianapolis winner Bobby Rahal being breathed on from behind by Darrell Waltrip, who scored a victory the next day at Riverside, California.
Battle is on. Here they come, and this could be the pass right here. Waltrip closes up, but the keyhole should favor Rahal. He's had so much experience in this track. Let's see what happens in this long straightaway.
He knows where every ripple on this Mid-Ohio sports car course is.
And when he comes off those corners, he's usually as quick as he can be. You're now looking back at Waltrip, trying to close on Bobby Rahal in a battle for second place. Remember, this is where Rahal made his move on Andretti last year and came home victorious with a lap to go. Closing right up. Darrell Waltrip, three-time NASCAR champion. He looks to the inside. Great battle for second place, and you're riding with Bobby Rahal, seeing what he sees in the rearview mirror. On this Saturday afternoon at Mid-Ohio, it's the International Race of Champions, and two of the great champions in this tremendous slugfest for second place. Ned Jarrett has a word for us on pit road.
We're standing by with Jay Signori, the man who's responsible for putting these cars together and setting them up. Jay, it looks like the cars are pretty well equal out there, but does the drivers make a great deal of difference here?
Well, I think the drivers make a big difference here because of the road course and the style of driving.
You had your men standing by just a moment ago. You thought Hans Stuck was coming in?
Hans Stuck and a couple of the cars got together going into one of the corners, and we saw the body damage on the left side, and we feared maybe we were cutting the tire down.
Jay, you got about 20 men here that helped put them together. How do you keep them from being prejudiced when they're working on these cars? Are they prejudiced as far as any particular driver is concerned?
Well, I missed that, Ned.
I said, your crew here, are they prejudiced as far as the drivers?
No, the crew isn't prejudiced with any driver. I think they like them all. And they know, my guys don't know till the night of the event which car the driver's going to be in.
So I guess that does help to keep them all pulling for everyone out there, Tim.
Thank you, Ned. If this race were to end right now, Chris, Unser Sr. would have 33 points, Unser Jr. 30 points. It'd be a father and son shootout in this series.
Could very well be. Waltrip's white #1 car was handled by Rick Mears in the Daytona opener, and of course it crashed, and he was credited with 9th place. So the car really doesn't have much of a track record as a finisher yet. But it was interesting to know, looking at the camera mounted in Rahal's car, how Waltrip would use the entire racetrack behind him, going from side to side, worrying Rahal, sort of excitement. I watch him here as he goes from, there he goes, moves over there, and back and forth, twisting there.
We'll be back with more of the International Race of Champions after this commercial message and a word from your local station.
So it was all at the start. The cars are the same. So Al Unser Jr. was as alert at the start over Rahal as Rahal was as alert over Kevin Cogan at the restart of Indianapolis and won him that race.
Good point.
He's not able to pull away. The cars are the same. It was that start of Al Unser Jr. that put him where he is right now.
Al Unser Sr. here closing up on Cale Yarborough. That battle a little further back in the field, 5th and 6th. Remember that Unser Sr. today, he started dead last. Furthest back anyone's ever come from to win one of these races. Waltrip started 11th and won it with a little bit of help from some friends. Here's Unser trying to close in on Cale. Quick part of the course.
I wonder if Cale pays any attention to numbers. It's the 3rd time in the last 4 IROC races that Cale has driven the red number 12 car. He's developing a thing with it.
I think we should mention that Klaus Ludwig has been turning some of the fastest laps out here. 2 seconds faster than anyone per lap, using up his tires just a little while ago. And he has picked up into the 10th position. Remember, he spun in the opening of the race.
Okay, let's see. Ludwig is driving the car that won the Daytona race. There's the interval. Just 6 and a fraction seconds. And now, what's happening here is that interval is lessening. Waltrip is putting the pressure on Rahal, who's starting to cut that interval ever so slightly.
There you see the light blue car, the petty blue car. That is Bill Elliott running in 4th. Then you begin to see what could become a struggle here. Sir Sr. getting his act together and really charging. We have had another change of position out here. I think that Cale has slipped back. And Cale Yarborough's had a problem. Who's red? Cale has spun. Unser Sr. has moved up. Jochen Maas has picked up. Let's take a look. I think we can see in replay what happened to Cale Yarborough. He was being challenged by Unser. There you see Cale just in front of Unser. And from Al Unser's in-car camera, Cale getting loose.
There's Yarborough off the road.
Unser goes through, and coming with him is Jochen Maas. So now, Al Unser Sr. started dead last in the race, picks up another spot. He's in 5th and ready to go after Bill Elliott.
This is quite a race.
I tell you, for my money, Al Unser Sr., he's as much fun to watch as anyone in racing today.
Well, he is without question one of the finest racing drivers this country has ever produced over the years. He has a very calm level of looking at things. He's the same when he gets out of a car that's broken when leading as he is when he wins the Indianapolis 500. He never lets anything rattle him or carry him to excess.
I think he's like Mickey Thompson. His heartbeat goes down when he gets in a car. Here's Al Unser still working, methodical.
Look at the look on his face.
Yeah.
Just business as usual.
Yep. Could be listening to his favorite station.
Yeah. Pretty rough, as you can tell there.
Sure loves to race, as anybody named Unser does. Here's Al coming up again, trying to close in a little more on Elliott. Now, Elliott made a real run earlier, and there's Al Unser Jr. out in front by about 6 seconds now. Over second place man Bobby Rahal, and right behind Rahal, Darrell Waltrip in 3rd. Now, the interval has been clipped a little between 1st and 2nd, Chris. 5.5 seconds now by which Unser Jr. leads Rahal. Rahal with about 7 laps to go. May have been saving something here. Tires.
Okay. 7 laps to go. Rahal knows that if he's going to win it, he's going to have to make his move. Okay. 7 to go.
And the bonus, as we mentioned at the halfway mark, all belongs, and he has dominated this race, to Unser Jr. Halfway point, he picked up 5 additional points. Now it's 4 7/10 of a second. The interval between 1st and 2nd. Here comes Rahal, just as he did a year ago, and with it, here comes Waltrip.
Right, Waltrip is staying right with him, and Elliott looks as though he's closing. It may well be that Al Unser Jr. has overheated his tires and his car is slowing down.
A great afternoon of racing here on this Saturday at Mid-Ohio. Tomorrow, many of these drivers will be in Pocono, Pennsylvania, the stock car crowd, and the IndyCar racers move back to Milwaukee. All flown in here just minutes before this race. Look at Waltrip closing up. Darting, diving, either way, trying to make a move on Rahal. Winner of 9 IndyCar races. I believe 5 IMSA races. The guy that's taken 68 Winston Cup races right behind him. Darrell Waltrip. And we're looking at that interval. Looks to me like Unser may have sprung it a little there. Unser Jr. Also getting back into the picture in the 4th position. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville is on the attack.
Hey, this is a great wrap-up as we now have 6 laps to go to the checkered flag waves. And there's $150,000 to win IROC series.
This is
10th time the series has been run.
Race number 2, race number 3 coming up in Talladega, end of July, and you'll see it here on CBS. And the 4th race back at one of the tracks in America, Watkins Glen. So as Elliott closes in, Unser continues to lead by only 5 seconds. We'll be back with more in a moment. Unser Jr. leads by about 4 4/10 of a second. The battle is in second place. The span of 4 4/10 seconds is back to a dogfight between Bobby Rahal in second and the man maintaining third. That's the white car of Darrell Waltrip. Then the blue car. That is Bill Elliott, and right behind him, the man who has come from dead last, Al Unser Sr.
That's a 4-car battle there behind the leader. And Al Unser's doing a great job.
If it ended now, those would be the standings, and we would have the Unser family right up in front, as they were in the Indianapolis racing last year in the kart competition.
You know, the champion of this series is going to put $150,000 in his pocket. It's a $575,300 series, but each race pays $5,000 to win and $100 a lap to lead. And if Al Unser Jr. stays out front, he's going to have quite a supplemental payday today.
That white car of Darrell Waltrip, he came here to practice the other day. He said he thought he really knew this course cold, Chris. He came around the first lap, and he said, all of a sudden I realized I'd missed the track and I was on pit road. He said, I thought I'd pull up. I didn't want to embarrass myself, tell him I had a flat tire or something. He said, so instead I pulled up to Les Richter, one of the guys who runs IROC, and said, hey, Coach, how am I doing? That senior's car, Al Unser Sr., he closes right in on Elliott again. It's getting down to showtime, and this is where the Unsers usually come alive.
That's
cool
tight.
demeanor. Watch him as he gets ready to go after Elliott. A lot of pride in the Unsers, and they believe Indianapolis car racing is the absolute best. Elliott, he settles for stock car racing, and that should be a good scramble right at the line. 26 of 29 laps now complete.
Waltrip has fallen a bit behind Rahal there. He was running his back bumper for a long time. These tires do get hot, and the racing expression is going away. They don't have the tractive quality they do when they're at the proper lower temperatures, and this may be the case here.
4 1/10 of a second now between Rahal in second and the man up front, Al Unser Jr. You can see Rahal beginning to take control of second position. Once again, charging in comes Waltrip. One miscue, just one slight mistake. We're going to see a switch of positions here. Harry Gant has pulled up to 6. Jochen Moss has dropped back to 7. Stuck is in 8th. Ludwig is 9th. Yarborough back to 10th. He has spun a second time. 3 laps to go here at Jim Truman's beautiful Mid-Ohio course. 2.4 miles, 15 turns, the glamour spot for road racing in America. There you see the interval. Al Unser Jr. in front. He and his dad will be up in the standings, 1 and 2.
They're closing up on him, and here's that quartet behind the leader. Bobby Rahal, Darrell Waltrip, Bill Elliott, and the elder Unser driver.
1:42 for the last lap. They're picking up the pace. They're averaging about 84 miles per hour per lap. Now you're with Unser Sr. another time, closing in on Elliott. About 2.5 laps remaining. In the second of 4 races, we'll be moving on end of July to Talladega, Alabama for round 3, and then to Watkins Glen, decided on a road course this year. Don't forget tomorrow, game 6, 1 o'clock here on CBS. Houston and the Celtics. Won't miss that for anything, Chris. Next Sunday, we'll be at Michigan for the NASCAR 400-mile race. Hope you'll be with us. That's next Sunday here on CBS. The Michigan 400 starts at 1 o'clock Eastern.
And that's in a different type of race, a 2-mile high bank super speedway with squadron flying on the raceway.
Following week, we'll be in Detroit for Formula One World Championship competition, all here on CBS. Unser Jr. lead is now 3 7/10 of a second. You can see it visually closing up here as Rahal takes one last shot. That yellow car way in the back of your picture, that's Harry Gant. He is now accumulated the 6th spot, and the span continues to shorten up between first and second. Rahal, who, as they said earlier, knows this course better than anyone, has turned more laps here. The man that Jim Truman turned loose on this track when he was just a kid will learn how to get it done. And my, what a job Rahal has done this year, winning the big one in such grand style.
to go. And look at Bill Elliott now is drawing a bead on his weekly rival in the NASCAR stock car races, Darrell Waltrip. Jay Signori, who puts these cars together, is going to have some body work to do. A lot of the cars have got minor scars on the sides from that infighting that occurred early in the going.
3 7/10 of a second between first and second. A word from Ned Jarrett.
I think it boils down now to the driver who has conserved his tires the best. Of course, this is one of the toughest tracks that they race on to pass on, and I got a feeling that we're going to see some fender rubbing if there is any passing, and I believe there will be.
Time running out. Down to the finish on this one, 28 complete. Getting down to checkered flag time. Leave a lap to go, this time by. White flag is out. Al Unser Jr. in front. Ray Hall in second. Waltrip third. Bill Elliott is fourth. Al Unser Sr. in fifth from dead last. Here they are into turn one. Under the bridge. Now headed uphill slightly. Into the keyhole. And Ray Hall draws away from Waltrip, but Elliott closes in. Last lap.
Elliott may just try that move. He certainly wouldn't know where he wants to make it.
Downhill off that slight negative camber turn. Long straightaway here. Flat foot right through this corner. You never live.
Fastest section of the course.
Down for the S's. Al Unser Jr. has dominated it. We're going to have a new winner in the International Race of Champions. It's going to be 24-year-old Al Unser Jr. Interval down to 2 8/10 of a second. Ray Hall isn't quitting. There's the interval another time. Ray Hall drawing away, leaving Waltrip and Elliott back there to decide what they want to do about third and fourth. Last lap. Total domination today for Al Unser Jr. In fact, for the Unser family. Superlative performance by his dad out of the rear of the field. Around the carousel turn for the final time. Headed down in front of the pits. Start-finish line area coming up. Checkered flag is down. Al Unser Jr. has won round 2 of the International Race of Champions. Elliott closes up on Waltrip as they come across the line, but couldn't get by him. So Ray Hall is in second, Waltrip third, Elliott fourth, Al Unser Sr. in fifth. We'll be back to meet the winners after these messages.